I'll start with the hymn. No, a march. That's it. I'll compose a march. Just wanted to do one of those. Can't be too French, though. Perhaps a folk song. In June of 1812, 500,000 French soldiers crossed the Lithuania on their way to attack Moscow. That's it, a Lithuanian folk song. A Lithuanian march. But I really don't like the Lithuanians.
Yeah, sorry to stop by and announce me, brother, but thought you might fancy going out for a drink. You're still working on that piece. It seems that you, my big brother, the great composer, Peter Tchaikovsky, may be a bit blocked.
Anatoly, orchestral compositions don't just happen.
1812 was 68 years ago, Peter. Everyone who was there is either dead or couldn't be bothered to listen to a tune about Napoleon's, and I use the term loosely, army. Just make something up.
Make it up?
But for Christ's sake, Peter, the French won't know any better. They've forgotten about Napoleon. I would think that they're a bit more concerned about being flummoxed by the Prussians just a decade ago. Perhaps you can write a ditty about that, big brother.
It's not a ditty, little brother. It's an overture.
Ah, yes, Peter. An overture. You should know, you're the composer.
Did you come here to torment me, little brother?
No, Peter. You seem to be doing that quite well enough on your own. No, you've actually come to lend a hand.
You think you know music, do you? You fancy yourself a composer, Anatoly?
No, but I am familiar with drama. Drama.
Drama.
Precisely. Did I tell you how I was of some assistance to Leo? You know, the writer.
That old bastard Tolstoy? How could you have possibly helped you?
Did you follow Anna Karenina in The Messenger?
I read most of the installments, yes.
Do you recall the ending?
As I recall, the title character,
That was my idea.
your idea. For Anna to throw herself in front of a train. To kill herself.
Well, you see, big brother, Leo was in Moscow.
To escape his wife, I presume.
From what I hear, he couldn't run far enough. So, Leo had a bit of a penchant for gambling. And, as you know, he's been known to have a go at cards.
Oh yes, my ne'er-do-well little brother. The one beyond to the family. The I go where life leads me, Tchaikovsky.
Which I'll take as a compliment. Anyway, Leo and I were players in the card game. A high-stakes affair at which we both managed to lose. And later we conversed over a vodka. He began discussing his novel, Anna Karenina, which, as you know, was published in weekly installments by the Moscow Messenger.
With quite a loyal readership, I understand.
But he was keen on wrapping it up. So, as we had our drinks, he told me how he planned to end the novel. Well, it was terrible. I think he had Anna getting on the train, plotting an escape to somewhere, I don't know, warm. Somewhere where this Vronsky fellow would never find her. I believe he ended the novel with her traveling to the south of France and eating a croissant.
But that's not how it actually ended.
Exactly. I took Leo aside and I said, you know, big guy, you've got to raise the stakes. How about, I don't know, Anna throws herself in front of the train.
That was you.
But enough about me. Let's talk about this little composition of yours. What have you got so far?
I've begun writing the finale. The melody is Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You don't like?
It would make a nice lullaby. A finale? Alright, like, finale, it's over.
It's not finished.
It needs more, big brother. More feeling, more drama.
I was thinking of using a cowbell
Cowbell? Who uses a cowbell?
to honor the peasants.
Who do you think you are, Karl Marx?
I saw him in London this summer. He did not look well.
Tell me more about this little skirmish. The one you've been asked to commemorate.
Near the end of the week-long battle, a great freeze descended upon Moscow. The French army's weapons actually froze to the ground. The Russians later seized the weapons and used them against them. The French were killed with their own weapons and defeated.
Merde.
Later, the Russians used the captured weapons, guns, cannons, artillery, anything they could get their hands on, and fired them to celebrate their great victory.
Bingo!
Excuse me?
Eureka!
What?
That's it!
That's what?
You've got to stop making music and start making noise, big brother.
Anatoly, orchestras don't make noise.
We're talking about a war, a battle, and a triumphant celebration. My dear big brother, we're talking about noise.
Suppose you have a point, Anatoly. It would be a bit groundbreaking.
No, big brother. Schumann is catching up to you. Brahms is breathing down your neck. Now, Wagner is quite popular these days. Some might say...
You know I can run rings around Wagner.
Of course. Of course. But by doing something different, something extraordinary, you would be seen as visionary.
I could add bells, perhaps cowbells.
No. Use clarions. It was a celebration, for God's sake, not a cattle call.
Could feature the brass section. Horns, trombones, trumpets.
And a tuba.
Perhaps I could write something for the cymbals.
Like a gong.
Yes, a gong. I like that. That could work.
How about cannons?
Did you say cannons?
Cannons!
You are absolutely insane. That's the strangest idea I've ever heard of. Live artillery, weapons as instruments?
Da 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 da. Boom, boom, cannons! Da 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 da. Mortars! It was a bloody war, for heaven's sakes. And then a violent celebration with cannons.
But you really mean using live cannons? It could incite panic. It could
Incite enthusiasm with emotion.
drama.
Exactly.
Perhaps, instead of inside the cathedral, we could hold it outdoors in the city square.
Yes, and that way the audience could be larger.
The cathedral bells, we could use those as the clarions you talked about during the finale.
They could ring on cue.
We had to have it indoors. If they didn't allow cannons. I could use the bass drum, perhaps a timpani.
Or a sledgehammer against a sheet of metal, echoing throughout the concert hall.
This might work. You know, I still think you're insane when you know. This might just...
Be the most famous piece you've ever written.
I wouldn't go that far. I could be laughed out of Moscow.
But at least the laughter would be drowned out by the cannons.
I must speak to my patron, Mrs. von Meck. She is the one putting up the rubles for this. And she commissioned me to write an overture. I don't believe she was thinking of artillery fire.
I'll stay here until you get back. Then maybe we can have that drink. You know, big brother, I can help you. Maybe with other works. New project.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
I've had an idea for some time now. I think it would work as a ballet, but who am I to say? Anyway, the idea I have in mind is, and I know you'll think I'm crazy, but just work with me on this. A little child's toy comes alive while everyone's sleeping on Christmas Eve. And all of a sudden, the Christmas tree grows bigger and bigger. And the little boy's toy soldier nutcracker, it gets bigger too, and comes alive. And other toys and animals start acting like humans too. And there are mice, dancing mice. And the gingerbread men become soldiers too. I'm picturing snowflake queens and the sugar plum fairy. Oh, and the little girl who lives in the house, she falls in love with the nutcracker, who is a handsome prince.
I'm going now.
Think about it, Peter. It can be performed every Christmas season, around the world. It could be big!